program is organized by National Institute for MSME. And the institute is a pioneer institute in the field of MSMEs. And we are supporting the and potential entrepreneurs through various host of services like training, research, and consultancy. And the host of the training activities, basically, it is mainly to enhance entrepreneur skills and also the capacity building skills in the area of finance, marketing, and many other areas which will lead to promotion and development of the micro and small enterprises. And coming to the all over the world, this micro, small, and medium enterprise is the backbone of any of the countries. And this is the labor-intensive sectors which is generating the employment opportunities, and also it is promoting the export to the world economy. And coming to the Indian perspective, the MSME sector is contributing nearly 30% of India's GDP and export of nearly half of the export to support the India's country's GDP. And this sector is contributing nearly 114 million employment opportunities to nearly 114 million people. And apart from that, this is the major sector which is always facing problem in the areas of accessing the finance and also the marketing opportunities. Soumya, is the presentation is visible?
Yes, ma'am. You can switch to slideshow, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you. So, and coming to this COVID-19 scenario, this is SME sector perhaps one of the hardest hit due to this pandemic. In response to this COVID impact, the central government and Reserve Bank of India has announced various measures to support this MSME sector to come out of this crisis, which is caused by this pandemic. As we are knowing that the Reserve Bank of India has given a moratorium on term loans and eased working capital financing and put off interest payment on working capital facilities, classification downgrade. And additionally, many of the public sector, they are introducing the emergency credit lines, whereby MSME borrower can avail a maximum loan amount up to 200 crores or 10% of the existing fund-based working capital limits. And Small Industries Development Bank of India has announced 5% on all loans to MSMEs. The government has also extended tax reliefs like GST and also the e-filing returns to June 2020. Despite of these measures also, this MSME sector is going to face many challenges in post-COVID-19. The biggest challenge this sector is facing will be the cash flow constraint. As many businesses have already started, they're facing the problem with regarding working capital issues, and also they have to face the future investment and also expansion due to this COVID lockdown. And this will be continue even after the post lockdown also because of the reducing demand. Though the government has started various steps as like SIDBI and other schemes to help the MSMEs, but we still do more to help this small business. The government can procure MSMEs and startups, thus help them to be sustained. In this scenario, MSME should have to get knowledge and awareness about the government e-marketplace and procurement through CPP to participate in government procurement in order to improve their promotional activities. As per the public procurement policy, every central government and departments and public sector units shall have an annual target of 24% of procurement from the MSE sector only. And out of this 25%, 4% should be from the MSE's own SC/ST entrepreneurs. And out of this 20%, 3% should be from the women entrepreneurs. That means the procurement, they have to go with definitely from the 20% of procurement, they have to go from the MSMEs, including the SC/ST entrepreneurs and also the entrepreneurs. Under this public procurement policy, 350 items are exclusively procurement from the MSMEs. So in such a scenario, MSMEs are basically facing the problem of financing and the promotion. They have to learn and they have to take the awareness about the government procurement policy. So in order to participate in GEM and CPP to promote their products. And this is the factor which is having the highest impact on many of the business. And coming to the second challenge they have to face in this scenario is the labor force. Because as we are seeing that this MSME sector is a labor intensive industry, and most of the workers, they are migrant and may not be able to remain to work soon. As with the large scale, these migrants of workers, they are moving from urban area to rural areas. Many of the small hotel, personal care, and other similar business, they make it tough to sustain and they get up running immediately after the lockdown ends. So this will require us to take up substantial measures for the worker safety and also providing the benefits like they have to facilitate the workers near the place of their work. So like they should go for think of out of, and they have to establish the process to employ the available workforce in a most efficient manner. And let us see the next and the very great challenges they have to face in this scenario is the supply chain disruption. This pandemic has impacted the supply chain across the globe. The post-lockdown, it is very difficult for the business, especially those business that do not manufacture or provide essential services, like except essential goods and FMCGs. It is very difficult for them to predict where and to what level the demand will come. And recently, a survey of 5,000 MSMEs conducted by All India Manufacturing Organization has found that 71% of them could not pay off their salaries to the workers in the month of March. And many reports across the country are raising a similar problem of these businesses are able to meet the immediate capital requirements. And so once the lockdown shifted, the most crucial challenge for this business has to ensure that the physical supply chain operates seamlessly without any obstruction. As a country, we would have clear guidelines on movement of goods. So various states, business and industry bodies would need to work together in making this happen. And also in this scenario, the business should activate the scenario plannings, and these teams will help to recover the multiple demand scenarios and plan the solution accordingly and managing the stakeholders like the vendors to ensure their supplies. And this factor is also having the huge impact on the many businesses. And coming to this next one will be the production shutdown. Because of the cash flows, migrant workforce, and also the supply chain disruption, it is basically leading to the shutdown in the production aspect, as it is leading to cascading impact even after the lockdown restrictions have been eased, owing to global slowdown in the demand. All these factors are leading to have an impact on the consumer sentiment. This consumer sentiment is greatly impacted with the COVID-19 pandemic. Because of this negative sentiment and also the decreasing in the liquidity will impact most of the consumer good industries, retail and service sector. And coming to the exports, and exports is also one of the greatest challenge for the many of the MSCs post COVID-19, because majority of the exports will going to the US and European economies. They are also being affected a lot because of this COVID-19. So there will be a huge impact on the exports as the global demand is expected to come down significantly. And the next will be the price variation of raw materials. So majority of the firms, those who are procuring the raw materials from the importing the raw materials from other countries, and those who are going for the exports, this will be huge affected in their production point of view, and it will also have an impact on the availability and also the cost. When there is a shortage of raw material, again, it will have an impact on their cost. It will similarly impact on their production cost. So where it is very difficult them to sustain in the present scenario with a competitive pricing. So these are the basic challenges that MSMEs are going to face the post-COVID-19 scenario. So, but as we are seeing that because of the production shutdown and demand reduce in the demand, they're unable to make the payment to the creditors. It will have an impact on the credit worthiness. when they have not having the sufficient working capital, and when they are not able to making the payments, it will lead to impact on the credit, which will again impact on the loan paying capacity of the particular borrowers. So at this junction, the MSMEs basically they have to focusing on the 5 key factors when they want to implement their strategies with scenario. First will be the financial assessment. They have to assess the financial statement, like whether the business is big or small. They have to, it is important for them to first make an assessment of their current financial situation and to understand their funds position. And they have to identify and they have to go for a 3 to 6 months of business plan. That is what should be the plan of action. At this junction also, they have to understand and they have to get a reliable information about the government relief packages, financial support initiatives, and also the support from the trade bodies like CA and FICCI. To have a clear picture from the investor is also very important before planning and executing the financial strategy. Once you are assessing your financials, then you have to reevaluate your business plan. So, assessing the current situation, one need to redefine the business goals and plan a more realistic and well-rounded growth plan so that can be executed immediately. And along with the same time, this COVID-19 has shifted the economy and transforming the economy from the offline to the online. Because now the services, there is a huge demand for the online services in all the aspects, in all the fields. So now they have to create a strong digital platform to promote the products and to build a brand in order to reach many channels, so that in the way to promote the product and marketing the product. And not only to adapt the digital ecosystem, they have to adapt the new technology innovations also. As this situation is not only saying that it is disrupting the economy, but it is giving an opportunity to go up with a new innovations and new technology, which will grab the opportunities in the present scenario. So they have to adapt new technology innovations, and that will lead to mitigate the future business crisis. And at the same time, they had to understand the crisis management strategy. Especially taking the lessons from this recent crisis, it is very important for the MSMEs to check up an effective crisis management plan that will take into consideration both immediate and long-term impact. So, as from the challenges, we can understanding that the challenges, it is indicating that there should be an opportunity in the next levels. So it is very important for the MSMEs to understand the present scenario, and they have to identify what best next opportunities are available for them to catch the market. So they have to redefine the strategies, and they have to, at the same time, they have to focusing on their long-term goals. As we can simply say that the SMEs who are proactive or respond fast will only win in this situation. As one of the authors said, only the paranoid will survive. That is, the business which can think and can act with speed will survive better. Having said this, and those inherently weak in their competitive position will find it difficult to survive regardless of the speed. So, keeping in these challenges in the mind, MSMEs has to focus on these areas, that how to manage their cash and how to manage the working capital and how to improve the supply chain aspects and how to reach the markets in order to sustain in the scenario. It's very big challenge for the MSMEs, not only in India and all over the world. So thank you, Soumya, and thank you all and for participating in the session. And thank you, Soumya.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite our second speaker, Mr. TCA Srinivas Prasad, CMA consultant. Mr. Prasad is a cost and management accountant with specialization in HR, finance, cost, productivity, and ERP. He was the executive director, finance and ERP at SAIL. He is a visiting faculty at NIMSV, Hyderabad. He He presently guides NMDC in their ERP implementation. Sir, you may please proceed with your session now.
Yeah. Good evening, all of you. This is Srinivas Prasad. A brief introduction has been given, and I would like to thank all of you for participating in this interaction. So, at the outset, I have some acknowledgement with gratitude given to NIMSME for this opportunity to meet and interact with all of you. I have gathered various input for this subject. The Institute of Cost Accountants of India, where I am a fellow member, and CMA M. Gopalakrishnan, who was the past president of the Institute, for his input. CMA R. Venkatramani, who is present here, and he will be sharing his input also for him also, and various web portals and inputs from organizations. There is always a challenge apart from the MSME challenge. When you are the second speaker, first speaker normally covers most of the subjects. So I would like to cover my subjects faster and give some additional 5 minutes extra time for people to ask some other questions, since they are all from MSMEs and people who are in the midst of challenges are present in this group. Now, this was covered, challenges, absence of working capital. The other portion was getting ready for operation. Madam Vijay has covered this earlier. There were a lot of things which we will have to take care of apart from these initial funds needed, even for the pre-start maintenance. If the lockdown is removed, we may not be able to immediately start working. There is a pre-start maintenance is needed. Even for that, we will have a lot of challenges. And if you look at it, initially, after the unit goes into production, then we'll have capacity utilization will be very low in the initial months. And as was told, labor to be paid and brought back. Supply chain issue was already discussed. There is one major challenge which I am seeing: encashment of BGs. In case if any of the SMEs have given bank guarantee to some of the companies, for either the performance bank guarantee or the supply bank guarantee, and because of this COVID situation, if the supplies have not been done or some of the performance issues have not been addressed, then there is a fear of some companies may really encash the BGs. When we don't have even enough money to start the operations, and when we don't have enough money to continue the operations, then if the bank guarantees are encashed, it is going to create a problem. Now, I've got a small submission to NIMSME, this being an organization under the government's arm. So after this particular seminar, what we are having, some of the points which come out from the faculty as well as from the participants, this should be made as a paper and submit to the government. One of the submission from my side will be encashment of the BGs, at least from the PSUs, because private sectors, the MSMEs themselves can go and request, because private sectors can mend their own rules, but government may mending rules, we need direction. So at least the government should now direct the PSUs, both central and state, to defer encashments for at least 3 months, depending upon the lockdown being removed. So many months, the encashment of bank guarantees should not be taken up. This is one of the suggestions which we may give to the government. Apart from whatever has been told by Dr. Vijaya, I'm not getting into those things, though they may find a place in my presentation also. Working capital will be a big concern. Credit guarantee scheme, what was being discussed, with or without security or with a small premium. Banks to extend credit, she had already talked about it. There's one thing, based on the GST invoices, the banks can lend the amount without any collateral security. And all of you know that there are preferred payment terms by the PSUs for the MSMEs. Maximum is 45 days. At least these invoices of bigger companies where the MSMEs send the GST invoices, the bank should be encouraged to discount it and then give the money. And that's what the next point also I said. We have, there is a Mudra loan. It is being, I understand it's being given to micro units only. So whether this can be extended, this should be a point to the government. The norms can be based on the turnover, and moratorium can be there for 3 months initially, and then EMI payment can be extended to 3 to 5 years. And there is one GST credit for some MSMEs, GST credit can be there in the government side. So whether government can refund it in cash at this hour, it will be very helpful instead of holding it and then trying to adjust at a later month. This can be one of the suggestions to the government if it has not already been given. Then this fee of payment of the employee and the employer, totaling to 24%, will be done for 3 months. That's what the Honorable Finance Minister had said. So this above scheme will be applicable for establishment with less than 100 employees, and the employees' earnings should be less than 15,000 per month. I believe all the participants will be aware of this because this is a widely publicized news item. The MSME units can start preparing the database and keep it ready once the government asks. We should be able to immediately give, and then we also should ensure that the above measure is carried out properly. Now, certain preferred action points, CSR funds, all of us know that all the companies, they have to give money or they will not assist on corporate social responsibility schemes. Whether it is possible, I am requesting the institute to go to the governments to allow funding of salary of employees of MSMEs, at least for those MSMEs who are supplying to those companies. Whether it can be treated as a CSR activity and it can be taken into the CSR account. This is a suggestion. The institute can mull over this suggestion and take it to the government. Dr. Vijay had already talked about the electronic portal, GEM. It's called GEM, a common e-marketplace, and she had already said what is the benefit of that. So my request to MSMEs is whether if you are not already registered, I hope every one of you is registered, but if you are not registered, you will not immediately register and ensure that you are visible to all the companies who are taking part in the procurement activity through the GEM portal. And I am right now with NMDC as an advisor ERP. So I was with SAIL, both were big public sector undertakings. And we are definitely taking note of this GEM portal, and we first check up whether some of the items that we procure, whether it is available in GEM, then only we go for tendering. So definitely PSUs are giving full preference for this GEM portal. So if MSMEs have not registered, anyone have not registered, please register now. Then creating cost consciousness within the units. Now we have got a issue. The market also will not be very buoyant when we start. I'm not talking of the stock market, the general market. It's not going to be buoyant when we start, and we have a cash crunch. And the prices, what it is going to be, whether the same price the purchaser will be willing to give. So there is going to be a lot of uncertainties. The only one thing which we can control is cost. So I think this was the time when all of us were locked down. Whether we could have done something, if we are not done, even in the remaining time, whether if we are able to reach our employees and then give them the inputs and then give them an sort of a training, arrive at what is meant by cost, how it can be done. Because these days there are a lot of free platforms like what we are doing a WebEx, people can do it on a Zoom. So if we are able to reach our employees and then start discussing till our units are opening on the cost front, I think once the units get open, this will pave a very big way for having a cost consciousness and a cost culture within the organization. And then we can also have the online training on various areas, including soft skill and computer applications, because going ahead, we may have to have a lot of simulation models and all those things, because we have to act fast. Dr. Vijay had already told, speed is going to be the essence. Whoever is able to get up, run fast in the correct direction, they are going to sustain and they are going to grow in the future. So for all that, we will need a lot of skills. So in this period, maybe if another 15 days is available also, we should be able to reach our employees. And in case if you are able to reach the workers, we should go and then take up these action points. Now, certain preferred action points as an opportunity. We can prefer low margin cash customers over high margin long credit customers. We were comfortable sometimes with long credit customers because it was a running business. Now the business is stopped. Everything is stopped. So we need cash to get up and then walk and later on run. So initially we may have to concentrate on the low margin cash customers. Then later on, we can come to the high margin cash. And then dividing the customers into vital, essential, and desirable. And then vital cash customers and those with high market standing whose invoices can be discounted, which I was discussing a little earlier with the banks under invoice factoring scheme. And essential and desirable customers can be targeted for better capacity utilization for cash break even, because we cannot only go with the cash customers. For us to have a break even, then only having a profit and all, we need essential and desirable customers also. So we may have to now, in the time, this is the time for us to find out who are all our low margin cash customers and who are all our high margin long term customers and who are all desirable, who are all essential. This exercise, if we take, once we start our operation, it will go a long way in shaping our things to come. Now, this is a question which I thought I will pose to the audience. What could be the biggest opportunity in India, and are we ready to welcome the new avenues? All of you must be saying, I would love to have interaction from the audience when they give they can give the points to moderator, so that moderator can even share it along with that. This need not be a question. This is an input which I am expecting from the MSMEs. When there is a big catastrophe, there is a big opportunity also coming way. All of you know that many of the companies in and around the world, they want to move out of China. This is the news item. It's in the public domain. It's nothing new. So many of them may come to our country also. India will be a preferred location. And whether as MSMEs, we are ready to absorb this opportunity. For that, what we are supposed to get ready, what we are supposed to do, this can be discussed. It's a discussion point. I'm not expecting a question. I would like to have inputs from people so that all others are benefited on this particular topic. Now, plan for the present and future. Now, we have to ascertain our present position and arrive at a realistic starting position with respect to 4 M's: men, material, machine, and methods. I'm not discussing money because money has been already discussed a third bag in this 30-35 minutes. Now, men also Dr. Vijay has touched upon. Material. Do we have material? Suppose if you are given a go ahead, how are we going to get the material? Or with the material, how are we going to start? The supply chain, which was discussed, we'll have to concentrate on that. Whether our machines are closed for quite some time, so we may have to have a pre-maintenance, pre-start maintenance, and then we should get ready. So we should have a plan of action. If the lockdown is removed, if I am allowed to work, if that is a zero date, within how many days my machines will be ready, within how many days my material I can do, and whether I should look at my methods, any of the processes, whether I should look at a different way. This is the time, every time till the lockdown of this Chinese virus, we were running. There is a forced sort of a holiday, though it is a very, very challenging and mentally disturbing holiday. But we have time to think on about what we are going to do in the future, whether our methods and processes can they be improved so that they give me a cost advantage. I think we'll have to look at that angle. Then we have to prepare multiple options for our business in future. The way we were doing the business, everything is now completely has become topsy-turvy. So maybe with available men, material, machine, and methods, and with the money, whether you have another option of carrying out your business, or whether at all with the same set of inputs and same set of people, whether you will be able to produce another product. So this may not be possible immediately, but at least you should now have multiple options for your future. Now, decide our approach and broad direction for the path to be taken. So we have to decide on our approach and the path to be taken, and arrive at actions and strategy that will work across multiple options. Suppose you have taken 3 options, what we are discussing in the point 2, then we have to arrive at actions and strategy that will work across your multiple options. I think all these things need a time for us to think and then jot down the points and then go ahead. So that the time is for us to think also. If we are not able to do anything, then that is the time for us to think and then proceed. Then fix alert points so that the organization takes the right decisions or corrective decisions at the right time. So far, maybe we were doing the job. Now we will need to have an alert points. For that only, I was talking about. If you really look at one of the thing I was talking about soft skills and computer application. So this will come in very handy when I have to have alert points in the organization to take me to the right decisions at the right time. And I am closing my presentation at this time. As I told you, since some of the points were covered, I have not gone into the details of this. So what I would like the institute, because it is being conducted by the institute, some of the points which has been pointed out in this presentation, they can be taken as a suggestion points to the government, whether they will be able to take it forward so that all MSMEs are really benefited by this. And I thank everyone for your participation. Stay safe, stay healthy financially and physically. And thank you, moderator, madam. I am leaving my screen sharing.
Thank you, sir. Now, we would like to invite our third speaker, Mr. L. Vidyasagar, Associate Director and Rating Head at CARE Ratings. Mr. Vidyasagar is the rating head for AP and Telangana region at CARE Ratings, having over 14 years of experience. He is involved in ratings of large and medium corporates across several sectors: infrastructure, power, pharmaceuticals, banks, NBFCs, manufacturing, logistics, real estate, and many more. Sir, you may please proceed with your session now.
Thank you very much, and I also would like to thank IMSME for the opportunity, and thank you everyone for joining us here. And Prasad sir was earlier saying that being a second speaker, the previous speaker would have covered most of the points. Now I am the last one, and apparently most of the points been covered in the sector. I will try to touch upon points which was not covered, and will not get into details which has been already covered. One second. Yes. The main challenges faced by MSME sector was covered in detail by the first speaker, Dr. Vidya. However, we'll just brush through upon what are the challenges that are being faced by them. Most of
Incoming call.
a survey, almost 95% of the companies are either having low production and sales, and also very low collections even from the large corporates, which was supposed to clear within 45 days as well. This apart, government has insisted on this MSMEs and all the corporates to keep paying the salaries, which was actually enacted under the Disaster Management Act. It means it's a very serious thing that everybody should comply. Though there are some PIL has been filed against this particular act, primarily because when the promoter doesn't have cash flow, how they are expecting, how they are expected to make payments towards the salaries. And this apart, as Dr. Vijaya said, the key issues would be labor. Even the companies which comes under essential items production are grappled with labor issues, as most of the daily wages have gone back to the natives, and the supply chain has disrupted very badly. Further, post-lockdown, the uncertainty of demand for the products and services of MSME sector looms very large. The service sector is no different, as more people opting for social isolation. We'll just see what are all the supports which government has extended in the time of COVID lockdown. Government fortunately proactively has extended 3 months moratorium in term loans and deferment of interest on the working capital facilities as well. And as we speak, government is also considering additional 3 months of moratorium given the current state of extended lockdown. The Reserve Bank has introduced targeted long-term repo operations, under which 50,000 crore has been allocated towards NABARD, SIDBI, and NHB, who will be doing the onward lending towards the MSME players. And government also holding almost 3 lakh crore loans towards MSME. This is under serious consultation with the government. And this apart, so it was explained in the first presentation. Various IT filing and GST return filing has been extended, and no interest or penalties would be levied on this. And there are few ad hoc measures or relief measures. Emergency credit lines up to maximum of 200 crore or 10% of the existing fund-based limits can be availed by the MSME. This apart, SIDBI has announced concessional interest rate of 5% on MSME loans under the SIDBI assistance to facilitate emergency response against COVID-19. These loans would be provided within 48 hours with no collateral and minimum paperwork, but only to those MSMEs that are manufacturing products or delivering services related to COVID-19. This apart, SIDBI also extending a lot of schemes for the startups and the MSME sector. This is primarily extended towards the companies facing lockdown situation across the country. And startup, they can provide the working capital requirements and at the same time plan for future growth. Government of India is taking steps to facilitate business impacted by the COVID lockdown. In this regard, SIDBI recognizes the operational and financial challenges being faced by the startups and has been making efforts to provide financial assistance and stability to such startup through schemes like COVID-19 Startup Assistance Scheme. This scheme will provide assistance to innovative startups that have demonstrated ability to adapt to economic impact and ensure its employees' safety and financial stability. This apart, SBI being one of the leading lender, which controls almost 22% of the MSME lending, also has come up with the new schemes. And to start with, they have extended COVID line of credit to most of the clients. The only drawback here has been like if the documentation has been the bottleneck in the scenario, whereas most of the government offices have been shut down. They couldn't execute the documentation and hence they couldn't avail the disbursement. But wherever the documentation has been done or the collateral has been, charge has been created on the collateral, those cases the disbursement has happened without any further trouble. And there are some other facilitators for MSME which currently prevails in the market. One is Receivable Exchange Platform, another one is SME Digital Platform. I will be explaining in detail about those two facilitators in the subsequent slides. So this slides talks about the eligibility criteria for SIDBI loans. And SIDBI also gives guarantee up to 2 crore loan where banks, however, it should have a bank approval. Just that it has to be a bankable project, and the SIDBI will give guarantee to the bank, and the MSME player can take such loans without any additional collateral. So, what is this Receivable Exchange Platform? So, it is similar to that of a stock market exchange platform. In stock exchange, what we do is the platform is arranged for someone who has share to sell their shares or someone wants to buy, can come to this platform and make the purchase. Similarly, when MSME sells a product to a buyer and gives the the invoice will be paid after 45 days as per the guidelines of the ministry. However, if the MSME player wants to liquidate at an earlier phase, so they can avail benefits over this platform. So what an MSME player can do is they go and register themselves and upload their invoice here. Once that invoice is approved by the buyer, saying that we have bought from them and this is a genuine invoice, then bankers will participate in bidding for the particular invoice. You get it discounted immediately, and you get the best part is the credit profile of the buyer will be earmarked to this particular credit, which means that though MSME player usually get a higher rate of interest in normal scenario where they don't have a great credit profile, here in this platform they get very low rate as per MSME, RXIL MD, the rates have gone as low as 6.5% in the recent past. And since it is a bidding based, many bankers would be participating and the lowest price would get the bid. So this improves the liquidity of the MSME player, and this is non-recourse in nature. And this apart, the company gets more visibility in such platforms. As the previous two speakers touched upon this government e-marketplace, as per statistics, only 1/4 of the MSME players have registered themselves in the government e-marketplace. So when a PSU or a bigger companies, they want, as per our MSME procurement policy, 25% of the procurement by the large corporates has to be done through MSME. And as Mr. Srinivas Reddy sir was telling, every company goes and checks platform like this, government e-marketplace. Once they check this database and if they couldn't find a seller for them, then they go for bidding and the open auction. And since only 1/4 of the MSMEs have registered themselves in such platforms, a lot of MSME players lose an opportunity to supply to the bigger corporates. And once they supply to the bigger corporates, they get it discounted on platforms like this. RXIL is one of the such a major receivable exchange platform, which is promoted by SIDBI and NSE. As I also concur with the Srinivas sir request, saying that MSMEs should register themselves in such platforms, which gives significant visibility for them as well as a great marketplace. So this is the schematic representation of how you get yourself onboarded and how this entire process at RXIL works. So you register yourself on the platform. So it goes through a normal due diligence process. They will assure that you are a genuine supplier. And then the factoring unit is the one where it is in short, it's a factoring of your receivables. So you will upload your invoice, and invoice, the only catch here is the buyer has to accept your invoice. So once they accept their invoice, and that has to be done within 15 days. So normally it happens quickly, but if somebody wants to delay, then it's very, you just can't help much about it. So within 15 days, they have to do it. And once the acceptance comes, then it goes to auction. And as per the lowest bidding for the interest rate of interest will be selected, and then settlement happens within 1 day. As I mentioned earlier, it is a non-recourse process. And this is one of the platform where going forward, a lot of transparency also comes. As large corporates, they cannot shy away from the accountability of paying MSME within 45 days. And even government is actually insisting all the corporates having more than 500 crore turnover has to register themselves on this platform, so that any supplier, whoever comes on board, they should be able to get their approval without much delay. And the second facilitator, even it was briefly touched upon by Dr. Vijaya, such as SME digital platforms. So what happens on these platforms? So it is like a Amazon platform or any other bigger platform where a lot of sellers and buyers come there. So you get to find your buyer as well as the seller in that platform. And many digital platforms do have connect with the fintech companies as well as the NBFCs. This enables companies to raise funds digitally even during the COVID time. And one of the other I just want to highlight one company which I am aware is Solve, which has almost 3,000, 4,000 such vendors and MSME players, and also have connects with the fintech and NBFCs. Here, during this COVID time, they were able to provide them funding facilities without any collateral. And this apart, you also come across a lot of consultants and tax filing assistants, which are being extended by such platforms. And another platform which is not exactly like this. So NSE SME platform is another area where companies can list themselves to raise equity. Though it is not a very active platform, however, in the recent 3 years, SME platform was able to raise more than 40,000 crore for more than 300